She claimed the second toothbrush in her bag was mine. I checked. It was still in our bathroom. I left that one with a note that said, "One of these doesn't belong." Neither do I. I'm a 39-year-old guy from Kansas City, Missouri. I was married to a woman named Rachel for 12 years. We met in college at the University of Missouri. She was studying graphic design. I was in business. We were that couple everyone thought would last forever. We bought a modest home in Brookside, had a dog named Max, and lived what I thought was a happy, quiet life. Rachel worked from home most days, freelancing for marketing firms. I commuted downtown to my job at a logistics company. We had our routines: morning coffee, evening walks, Sunday brunches. Nothing flashy, but it was ours. About 6 months ago, Rachel started acting different. She was glued to her phone, laughing at texts she wouldn't share. She started going out more, saying she was meeting clients or catching up with friends. I wanted to trust her, so I didn't push. Then one night, she came home late, smelling like a mix of perfume and cologne. She claimed she had hugged a friend goodbye. I nodded, but something felt off. A week later, I noticed a second toothbrush in her travel bag. I asked her about it. "Oh, that's yours," she said casually. "I packed it for our trip next month." But I had just brushed my teeth that morning with my toothbrush, which was still in our bathroom. I checked. It was there, untouched. That night, I left the extra toothbrush on the bathroom counter with a note. "One of these doesn't belong." Neither do I. Then I packed a bag and went to stay with my brother in Overland Park. The unraveling over the next few days, I pieced things together. Rachel had been seeing someone else, a guy named Mark. They met at a networking event downtown. He was in marketing, divorced, and apparently charming. I found messages on our shared tablet. She hadn't logged out of her email. There were hotel confirmations, dinner reservations, even plans for a weekend getaway to Chicago. I felt like a fool. I returned home after a week. Rachel was there, looking surprised. "We need to talk," I said. She sat down, silent. "I know about Mark." I saw the emails. She looked down, tears forming. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean for it to happen." I nodded. "I'm moving out. I'll have the divorce papers sent over. I'm not proud of what I did next, but at the time, it felt justified." Rachel had a big presentation coming up, a pitch to a major client. She had been working on it for weeks. I knew her laptop password. We had always shared everything. The night before her presentation, I accessed her laptop and replaced her pitch deck with a slideshow of our wedding photos, interspersed with captions like, "Remember when honesty mattered? Till death do us part," or "Until Mark came along." She called me the next day, furious. "You ruined my career." "No," I replied. "You did that all on your own." It's been 4 months since the divorce was finalized. I moved to Denver, started a new job, and adopted a rescue dog named Buddy. Rachel tried reaching out a few times, but I blocked her. Sometimes, I still think about the life we had, the routines, the quiet moments. But then I remember the betrayal, the lies, and I know I made the right choice. If you're in a relationship and something feels off, trust your instincts. And if you ever find an extra toothbrush in your partner's bag, it might be time to reevaluate everything. About 2 weeks after I moved to Denver, I started getting unknown calls. No voicemail, just rings. I ignored them at first. Figured maybe it was telemarketers or old business contacts. Then came a message, short and weird. "You think you got away clean. You didn't." Blocked the number. My gut told me it was Mark. A few days later, I went out to walk Buddy early in the morning. He froze halfway down the block, growling. Someone had slashed the tires on my car. All 4. Clean, deep cuts. No note, no broken windows, just the tires. I checked the cameras at my apartment building. Grainy footage, but there was someone in a hoodie moving fast between cars around 3:43 a.m. Couldn't see the face, but I recognized the way he walked. Slight limp. Rachel had mentioned once that Mark tore his ACL skiing. I filed a police report, but there wasn't much they could do. No plates, no ID. Just keep an eye out stuff. Then came the email. From Rachel. She wrote, "You need to stop playing games. Mark says you've been harassing him. If you don't, we'll file a restraining order." I laughed out loud when I read it. I hadn't spoken to either of them since the last message. Hadn't messaged, called, or contacted anyone they knew. I took screenshots of my call logs, message history, and the tire damage. Sent them to a lawyer. He told me to document everything and to stay cool. So I did. But they didn't. 2 weeks later, I lost my job. Someone sent a tip to HR with screenshots from a fake Twitter account pretending to be me. It had posts about workplace harassment, offensive memes, and even one that said I bring my personal problems to work and blame others. I didn't even have a Twitter account. HR said they had to investigate. They told me to work from home while they sorted it out. I didn't even get the chance. A day later, they called and said my contract was being terminated. Not a good cultural fit anymore. No severance. I was sitting in my apartment, blinds drawn, feeling completely wrecked, when it hit me. This wasn't about revenge anymore. This was about control. Rachel wasn't just cheating and lying. She was playing long-term games. Mark too. They didn't just want me gone. They wanted me to feel erased. So I did the thing they didn't expect. I visited Kansas City. I went back to the old neighborhood. Saw the house. She'd replaced the curtains. Painted the porch. Same damn dog bowl on the steps. I walked by slow. Didn't linger. Didn't need to. I stopped by a former neighbor's place. Miss June. She was always nosy, always watching. We chatted for a bit. She looked uncomfortable when I asked about Rachel. I didn't push, just let her talk. She finally said it. She's not with that man anymore. Loud fights every weekend. I think she kicked him out 2 weeks ago. I played dumb. What man? She sighed. You know which one. The one she brought around before she even divorced you. That part stung. I just nodded. She looks tired. And angry. Like she's expecting something to fall on her head. I thanked her and left. On my drive back to Denver, I stopped for gas outside Selena. Grabbed a drink, stood in the parking lot watching the sunset. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. This time, the text read, "You're making a mistake coming back here. I'm warning you." I didn't respond. I took a photo of the message and added it to the folder. Later that night, my lawyer called. Got something, he said. Turns out, one of Mark's former coworkers had reached out after seeing a LinkedIn post I made last month. The guy said Mark had done something similar to another woman he dated, slandered her, ruined her job, even got into her accounts and leaked stuff to her boss. That's when I knew this wasn't personal. It was a pattern. And now I wasn't the only one with proof. I didn't know what was coming next, but I wasn't scared anymore. I was pissed. And focused. The story isn't over. Not even close. About a week after my lawyer got that call from Mark's ex-coworker, things got quiet. Too quiet. No new messages, no flat tires, no weird emails. For a while, I thought maybe it was done. Maybe they gave up. But I knew better. Then I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a printed screenshot of a Craigslist ad. Someone had posted my name, number, and a fake photo, claiming I was offering discreet companionship services around the Denver area. The ad said I was cheap and always available. My phone blew up within the hour. Calls, texts, some of them disgusting. I shut the phone off, went to the police again. They said they'd look into it. No promises. Next day, the Craigslist post was gone. But the damage stuck. I missed 3 work opportunities from contacts who suddenly stopped responding. I knew Rachel and Mark were behind it. No one else hated me that much. I couldn't prove it directly yet, but it was their style. Same petty, cowardly approach. always just far enough from illegal to keep them clean. I spent the next few days collecting every piece of evidence. Every screenshot, voicemail, email, everything. I even found a guy on Reddit who helped me trace the Craigslist ad back to a VPN service. With enough pressure, he said, the service might give up the IP address. I handed all of it over to my lawyer. Then I got another surprise. Turns out, Mark didn't just ruin my life. He also lied about his entire background. The LinkedIn profile he used to get freelance jobs? Full of fake credentials. Fake awards. My lawyer dug into it deeper. His so-called degree was from a non-accredited online college. His company history? All unverifiable. But here's where it got interesting. One of the places he claimed to work had recently filed a fraud complaint against someone who used his exact alias. Same name, different state. My lawyer contacted them. They said a guy named Marcus Dean stole thousands using identity manipulation. Photos matched Mark. And Rachel had been posting happy couple pictures of him on Facebook under that name. So now it wasn't just personal sabotage. It was fraud. We went to the authorities in both states. Things moved slow, but the agents we met with were interested. Especially when we gave them the messages, the ad, the IP leads, and the list of women Mark had harassed or blackmailed. Apparently, 2 others had already reported him. None of them had enough on their own to move forward. But together, the story was stacking. Here's where it twisted again. A week after I filed the full report, I got another text. This one wasn't from Mark. It was from Rachel. I didn't know. I swear. I thought you were lying because you were bitter. I didn't know what he was. I didn't respond right away. I read the message 5 times, just staring. Then I sent her a single line, "You picked him over me." That's all I needed to know. She replied again. Longer this time. He's gone. He left. Took my money, deleted everything. I can't reach him. The police came to ask questions. What did you do? I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I went to grab coffee that afternoon and saw her again. Not in person. On the community page for our old neighborhood, she'd posted a long rant about being betrayed by a man she trusted and how she should have listened when people warned her. The comments weren't kind. People remembered what happened between us. Some neighbors called her out. One even said, "Maybe next time don't cheat on your husband with a con artist." Seeing her unravel like that, it didn't bring joy. It just brought closure. Rachel and Mark played a game. They thought I'd roll over, that I'd disappear. But I didn't. I stayed quiet, watched, learned, and now the story isn't theirs to control anymore. What they don't know is this case. It's gaining attention. There's now a detective in Denver and one in Kansas City trading notes. And I'm not the only one feeding them info. Things are building. It took another month, but then it all snapped into place. Mark was arrested in Flagstaff, Arizona. Caught using a fake ID and trying to open a bank account under the name Jason Lee. Someone tipped off the police, someone from the Kansas City office who remembered the fraud case we filed. They matched fingerprints. It was him. Rachel tried to lie again, said she had no idea where he went. But phone records showed she wired him $4,000 just 3 days before he disappeared. She got dragged into the investigation too. Obstruction, aiding, and abetting. Turns out she let him use her laptop to fake invoices and fake client documents. Even signed her name on some of them. My lawyer was right in the middle of it all. He called me the day Mark was indicted. He's going down, he said. And she might too. I thought I'd feel relief. Instead, I felt nothing. Just empty. Like everything had finally settled in place and left behind a hollow space. I kept going to work. Got back on my feet. Took Buddy on longer walks. Started seeing a therapist. Told her everything. She said I'd been surviving in war mode. Now I had to figure out how to live again. I tried, but I also wanted them to feel what I felt. Not just guilt or regret. I wanted them to sit in their own mess and squirm. So I gave one final push. I compiled every bit of my story into a letter and sent it to Rachel's parents. They were the kind of folks who hosted block parties and went to church every Sunday. I told them what their daughter had done. I left out the parts that would hurt too deep, but I made sure they understood how much she lied, how much damage she helped cause. A week later, I got an email from her father. It was 3 sentences. "I'm sorry for what she did to you. She's no longer welcome in our home. Take care of yourself." That was the last I heard from any of them. Mark got 6 years in prison. Plea deal. Avoided the worst of it, but his name is ruined. No more fake jobs. No more new starts. He'll always be known as a scammer, and that's if anyone remembers his name at all. Rachel didn't go to jail, but she lost her job, her reputation, and her family. She filed for bankruptcy 2 months later. Her freelance clients dropped her after word got out about the fraud links. Even the friends she used to post about on Instagram stopped commenting. She posted once about cancel culture, then deleted her account. I didn't walk away clean either. I lost a job. I lost time. I lost the version of myself that believed people wouldn't stab you in the back if you were good to them. I became colder. Quieter. I stopped answering calls from unknown numbers. I check locks twice before bed. I still flinch when I hear my old phone ringtone. I made mistakes too. I let things slide when I should have spoken up. I stayed loyal to someone who didn't deserve it. I got petty, and I don't regret that. But I do regret wasting so much energy on someone who had already checked out of our life while pretending to still care. The revenge wasn't sweet. It was heavy, but it was real. She claimed that Toothbrush was mine, but it wasn't. It belonged to someone else. So I left a note, and I left. And now? They're both stuck with the mess they made. I'm not.